Hi, I'm Scott Patsko with the Northeast Ohio Media Group, here with Nathaniel Klein, Matt Gould, and Matt totally ruined our color coordination, but we're going to soldier on. We're going to talk about what we learned from week 7 of the high school football season, and not a lot of drama, I guess, this week. Most of the teams at the top 25, up at the top of the top 25, won. A few losses for the teams at the bottom because of that. Certainly not week 6. A repeat of that. But there were some things that kind of stood out for us. So, Nate, let's start with you and find out what you learned about week 7.
Well, congratulations to the King and Queen on homecoming at Solon. They kicked off those festivities early, but at the end of it, Solon won the game by 38-14 against their great conference opponent in Strongsville. Let's kind of start with Solon. Their strength, over 307 yards passing for the PA announcer's favorite Johnny Mooney for 5 touchdowns. He led the way for that. But what was a little disturbing was just the 15 yards rushing. I think that's something that they're going to have to try to figure out coming this week in the next opponent. But that also kind of shows something about Strongsville being able to stop the run and also be able to run the football as well. Zach Kahn, I think he had a little over 200 yards this past week against Solon. So he's doing really well. They're doing really well also defending that rush as well. But they also need to also clean up that pass defense as well. So otherwise, 38-14, Solon's staying ahead.
I think Johnny Mooney's kind of come on in the last few weeks as far as throwing. You're right. They haven't really had the running game, at least not that they focused on last year. But right. He's Rick Ashley's doppelganger, I think. If you see him, you know. What'd you get?
Well, my big takeaway is special teams. Sometimes it gets beat down beat down too much, but at the same time, I saw Midview for the first time since Bill Albright used to coach the team, and one holdover from that regime is the fact that Midview likes to do those pooch-style kicks, those lobs into the 30-yard line corner pocket or so. Didn't really factor too much into that game. Olmsted Falls did a good job of keeping possession on those, but I'll tell you what, the next day I got to see St. Edwards, and the #1 team in our area, of course, not too many flaws with them, but they did have some butterfingers on a couple kick returns. One was taken away. It was a vital moment. The game was tied 21-all. Mainland recovered the kick, got it back to about the 2-yard lines, but offsetting penalties pushed them back. St. Ed's took advantage there, and you can't have mistakes against a team like St. Ed's, and Ed's really took advantage there.
Those pooch kicks, we noticed that a lot, I think, in the playoffs last year. We were talking in the press box about, does anybody really want to kick off anymore? It was all, into these dead areas where there's nobody there, and it's just kind of a free-for-all to go get it. My take from the week kind of focuses on Avon and the fact that they're still out there. Talking to Coach Elder after the game, he kind of said as much. People kind of don't really care about Avon anymore, and he kind of said how people kind of moved on at this point. He gave a little nod of his head, a little bit south, perhaps towards Grafton. A lot of people are jumping on the Midview bandwagon, and that's understandable. They've certainly had great teams here the past couple of years, but I think you don't want to sleep on the Eagles. I think they're going to be there playoff-wise in the end, and looking at the other teams in Region 4, I don't know that there's any there that really stand out as, yes, this team can definitely beat Avon other than what Midview has already done. So I think maybe we're looking at another year of a rematch in the playoffs, and I think that's something that we can kind of all look forward to.
Almost feels like it did Avon and Midview a disservice to have that game so early in the season because of that, what Mike was alluding to.
Yeah, some really tough teams are going to be outside this playoff picture, and it's kind of sad to think about that. So, still we're good in week 8. We'll see who shows up.
Well, we could have a league champion that doesn't make the playoffs. Look at Cleveland Heights, 2-0 in the LEL right now.
That's true. That's true. It's kind of a crazy ending here, and especially with that. Kind of one of the things that came out of last week is Cleveland Heights and Brunswick too, kind of climbing up. I think Brunswick's like 18th, won 3 in a row. So, anyways, that's what we thought. We'd like to hear what you think. You can certainly leave a comment wherever you found this video, and we'll see you next week.